So, now that we're done with Liud's side quest, it's time to go on to our next war criminal, and we're headed back to Alfard for Savina's side quest.
I was going to say, whose loyalty mission are we going to do now? And yes, I am going to keep calling them that, because that's really obviously what these are. Although these don't strike me as the kind of writers that would ever actually allow these people to actually die for real, but you know what I mean.
Anyway, how do you feel about the desert?
Well, ordinary video game desert, JRPG desert, a little pessimistic. I note with some trepidation the half-buried treasure chest visible in this screen.
Savina?
You're safe. We made it in time.
Guys, I'm here for my redemption arc.
Am I glad to see you? We could really use your help here. So far, we've managed to avoid any serious confrontations with the monsters. But there's a nest of ghouls ahead that we weren't able to get through. With your help, we should be able to fight our way through it and reach the other side safely.
Understood. But why didn't you guys just leave to save your own hides? The Azani villagers must be making things difficult. Why are you helping the ones you once helped to slaughter?
Can't say for sure.
I mean, lady, you're here for a redemption arc. You should understand how this works.
Caught up in this mess, I felt the least we could do is save what lives we can. I guess that's what I figured. I'm not so sure myself. Some of my men have deserted to save their own necks. I guess that's somewhat understandable. At any rate, what brought you here?
Look, how many times are you going to make me repeat this?
You've changed, Savina. Well, let's get some rest and set off first thing tomorrow.
You'll say, weren't we informed that, like, he was here, and that's why we came in the first place?
Welcome to our little hell. I really appreciate the help.
Yeah. Probably best not to think about it too much.
Get out of our village, you murderer!
It's nice of the game to remind us of this.
It's like, you know, I know that we're about to go do this whole redemption arc for Savina and What's-His-Face, but we're just going to take a second to remind you that, yes, you are in fact still playing as war criminals.
So strange. Being near Aza, the village where this whole mess started. Being with the villagers. Even being allied with them. I never saw this day coming.
How come Zudi's propeller isn't spinning?
Life goes that way for everyone, more or less. Not knowing what lies ahead.
Probably because she's asleep. Don't worry about it.
I didn't know that was how it worked.
2 years ago, after Operation Sweep, I took part in another mission. Our target was in Mira. His name was Georg. But all I could do was stand and watch as Giacomo and the others tore his place up. I just watched and waited outside. When it comes to fighting, I have no trouble getting the job done, without any fear or remorse. That part of me will never change. But from that point on, I knew I could never harm the innocent, the defenseless. When I realized that, I turned my back on everything I had, and ran.
Oh, it was just one war crime too many.
As an Imperial soldier, I was one of those who killed your family. When this battle
Yeah, I guess it's never too soon for your last
there's no
war
need to
crime.
hesitate. Do what you need to do to avenge them. The only thing I was taught as a child was how to fight, how to kill. I've known Asdar since way back in those days. Some called me a killing machine, which was exactly what I was. I only knew how to kill, nothing else. So that night, when part of me refused to fight, I had no idea what to do. All I could do was to drop everything and run away. to run as fast as I could. I already told you about what happened later, back in Anue. I moved from place to place, and met one of the witches from Wazin. She told me where to find a cause, something righteous to fight for. So I waited there in Anue for my battle to begin. The waiting itself wasn't so bad.
Savina, you weren't just
Like,
waiting
how
for
how much of this
free.
plot has basically been
You were waiting
orchestrated
for
in
someone
advance
to
by
die.
Wazan at this point? I've lost
Something
track.
to die for, weren't you?
Basically, all of it?
Could be.
Well, maybe not all of it, because, I
Well,
mean,
no.
obviously they weren't
Just
behind
that I've never seen you so
Gil to
talkative.
Blame and them pulling up the Ed Magnus in the
Yeah.
first place, but, like,
You're right.
literally everything after that is a pretty strong
I just needed someone.
contender.
They've just been chess mastering this whole thing.
Decides like that.
Shadow's just what? You guys don't just casually orchestrate
My
international
team is scouting
interdimensional
all the
events?
secrets out there. Savina, you and your friends should follow us at a short interval, securing the area. I've asked the villagers to wait here for now. Once we've secured an escape route, we'll come back and escort them out.
Understood. Be careful, Asdar.
Yeah. I don't get hurt that easily. We'll teach those ghouls to fear the Mad Wolf unit.
Well, let's hope nobody bears a grudge. You know, all these unreasonable people getting all jumpy about the people who did war crimes to them.
We should be heading out.
So,
soon.
are you ready for a gimmick?
Am I ever ready for a gimmick in this game?
So, the area that we are about to head into is, it's very special. So, the way this next area works is that it is laid out on a 4x4 grid, right? So, we start in the bottom right, and our goal is in the upper left part. However, it is a desert. And you know, it's very hot in the desert.
Aha!
So, in order to traverse this desert, we're going to need some supplies.
We're gonna need the fundamental essence of water.
Yes, so every time we cross a tile in this upcoming desert, the game will take away one of our waters. And if you don't have a water, you will get transported back to the start.
Aha!
In addition to this, the game will also just occasionally take water from you, because fuck you, that's why.
I see. So, how many water can we carry?
As many blank Magnus as you have.
Which is...
I think at this point the maximum is like 6 or 7?
Okay, so we have what, 16 total tiles, 6 that we have to, 6 tiles we can traverse. Presumably we still have to pay for the first one. So, there's like 3 or 4 trips.
Oh yeah, and along the way we'll be encountering some friendlies along the way. And if you want to get anything from them, you'll need to give them water too.
No, wait a minute, don't you need at least 7 squares in order to get from the one side of a 4x4 grid to the other?
Yes. So, here's the thing. In addition to this, you will occasionally find an oasis out in the desert, and you can refuel your water there.
Aha. By the way, is this, like, the whole thing is set? It's not, like, random or something?
No, this is a set map. I will post it. I will post the map along with this update.
And they're not going to do some horseshit, like the perspective gets fucked. And you get turned around. It's not going to be like, oh, I can never remember the name, but the one Blizzard place in Final Fantasy VII. Not Gaia's Cliff, but the bit right before that.
We're gonna say yes and no.
I'm extremely perturbed by that response.
Anyway, before we talk about that, let's talk about Liud's sweet new gun dropkick.
Right? I mean, it's a gun and a dropkick. I mean, those weren't two martial considerations that I would have thought to combine before, but
Special attack.
yeah, innovation.
Anyway, the only enemy in the desert are these guys. They are very weak to light and sort of weak to water. So we're bringing most of the B team today.
Fair enough.
Anyway, the flashing blue light indicates where we can find water. The big compass hand tells us vaguely which direction we should be going to reach the goal.
I see. And the game's already throwing dilemmas at us. How many of these guys are there?
4? 3 or 4?
Okay. Oh, I'm starting to think this might take 5 trips. Although also, like, that also assumes that we actually particularly care about visiting every tile.
There are a couple of tiles that don't have anything, so we can safely skip a few.
Okay. But that, of course, assumes that you come in armed with a complete map and knowing all of this stuff, which you, of course, won't necessarily. In other words, video games. I don't know how I feel about this. Actually, that's a lie. I know more or less exactly how I feel about this. So what, do these kids just drag you back here?
Oh, no. Apparently, so you know how we were supposed to be following Asdar out? Apparently, since we never rendezvoused, he came back and found us, and then dragged us back here, and then he went back out.
Aha! That's much dumber. And then we just get mercilessly teased by the said children. I guess that's fitting.
So those are the children from,
Yeah, I remember them.
that we can just give all of our garbage to, if we were so inclined.
That's cool. Do you know what else is cool? Is having to do this like 6 or 7 individual fucking times. Like that's just a really neat thing. Like that's just video games using interactive texture to drive home an atmosphere. It's a whole feeling, a sensation of continuous hopelessness and despair. Video games. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Just fucking let me fill 7 things in one go. Just come on. You've got one job, inventory designers.
So thankfully, you can clear out the desert in 3 passes, if you know exactly what to do and where to go.
I mean, it's kind of alarming how much that doesn't redeem the game.
We also stuffed an elephant into Callus's pants, because that's just how we roll these days.
I mean, that's like, you know, that doesn't even register at this point. No other interesting interactions with the elephants at this point? I don't know. Okay.
I mean, we got one. That's about all the interesting things we're gonna get until we go drop it off back at the Ice Palace.
Ah, well. I'm trying to think of a suitably competent way of linking this to some kind of anecdote about a recent David Attenborough documentary that showcased a frog that lived in a desert somehow. It was just kind of an evolutionary disaster. Requires water but lives in a desert, spends all day buried under the sand. Fat body, stubby legs, can travel like 38 meters in a night. Can't really do anything, has to go and find termites to live, but is too slow to catch them even if they walk right into its mouth. Anyway, for some reason this reminds me of that.
So, yeah, like I said, there are a couple points at which the game just goes, whatever, you'll figure it out.
Right, yeah, there seems to be a interesting atmospheric condition of some kind in progress. Don't really know how that works. But I guess that the perspective doesn't rotate, you can still just travel vaguely up and down, like... I don't get it.
Yeah, the perspective hasn't changed. We're still moving along the same ways, but now it's just like, what's that? You want to know where to go? Nah.
Oh, I hope you remember roughly what direction the arrow was pointing in on the last screen, and just keep going that way. That's game design, right?
You know, if he's so concerned about us, why doesn't he just go with us? Like, why does he just wait till we get up and then we'll just go fight the ghouls together?
Ah, but that wouldn't be video games. We must, at absolutely all times, be video games. Otherwise we get arrested. I don't make the rules. Honestly, it makes about as much sense as pretty much anything else that we've seen at this point in this game so far. Like, there can only be so many possible justifications for some of the crap that they pull. Was that a fucking Mirage Oasis?
That was absolutely a Mirage Oasis.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's on brand, I'll give him that. Like, it's like an actual thing.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, like, it's appropriate, but also, like, yeah, they did a Mirage on top of everything else in this area.
I mean, should have expected, to be honest. Yeah, seems rational. So, save point, huh?
I wonder what that could mean.
This is missable, right? I'm thinking, yeah. Opposite corners of a 4x4 grid. I wasn't counting very carefully, but I'm pretty sure we only went a certain number of squares.
Yeah, so if you assume the top left of the grid is 1-1, we were in... Fuck, that would have been... We were in 1-2, and our goal is in 2-2. You could, hypothetically, go from the bottom left corner and then go north to get here, and you would not get that save point.
Be careful.
Cool. Good. Great. Video games. Well, alright then.
So, it is highly, highly recommended that you bust out the bullshit as quickly as you can in this fight. Your first turn should be hitting this boss for the biggest combo that you can muster, regardless of how poorly it sets you up for the next turn.
Aha. How badly does his defense go up?
Yes.
I see.
This boss's gimmick is, you remember, the pretty boy, the one who turned into the other monster like this, who had the orb of magical offense? Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Basically, after this boss's first turn, he will spend the entire rest of the fight blocking every single hit.
Well, that sounds insufferable. Does he at least, like, restrain himself to only hitting like a chump? Like, I would hope that there would be some compensation for that.
He hits moderately hard, we'll say. Not, like, offensively hard, but enough that you don't want to take more than maybe 2 hits on the chin before you...
Would you say that he hits hard enough for it to be an enormous pain to have to keep up with defense at the same time as doing literally any damage?
No, he's not that bad.
Ah, okay. Well, I guess we'll take such victories as we can get then.
So, this boss's only weakness is water. Now, he's quite weak to water. It's like 80%. But the mechanics of the fight are such that you actually really don't want to use water on him. Because remember that he's blocking every single hit that you get him with, which means that regardless of whether you use water on him or not, he's putting up fire defense. So... Oh yeah, also he does that. It's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, like... I guess overall it's like just... It's not really, like, you know, really stupidly offensively difficult, it's just kind of an enormous pain. Even if at the end of the day it's totally manageable. That's my read on it. Then again, I don't know how much time you just jumped.
Not substantially far. It was like... No, it certainly was no more than about 5-10 minutes.
No. Only 5-10 minutes.
I mean, if more JRPGs had boss fights that were only 10 minutes long, I would be quite okay with that.
That's a fair observation.
You're mine.
Father? Father, why?
This can't be.
Ah, you see, it was that one man that Savina punched and killed way back when.
I remember bodies being thrown into a pit, deep in the lava caves.
I mean,
Those bodies must have been tainted by Malpertio.
I can see this being a tiny bit evocative, but I still don't really see how it's as much of a dilemma at this point. On the other hand, Savina's pretty addled by war crimes, so... I'll allow it. I swear though, if this turns into a speech about how you have to forgive yourself, I will not actually scream because that would break the audio, but morally I'll scream.
Now here's a question. How did this child even follow us out here to begin with? Because, you know, we've been
2 years ago.
wandering the desert for a while now.
I mean, maybe the kid's just a real good collector of cards.
Daddy, he's gone. We should.
Also, I maintain that those kids absolutely could have dragged us back if they were actually so inclined.
Good girl. Good girl. Savina.
So, you know, call me crazy, but I'm not entirely sure how anyone is supposed to understand or know that, oh, this is one of the guys from the massacre. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Maybe the appearing ghost wasn't just a diegetic detail to communicate this to us, like maybe that's just actually how it works.
If it wasn't for you and your friends.
Don't get mushy on me.
Don't you ever go following someone again without permission, okay?
But I wanted to continue a cycle of violence.
What's the matter? Do you want to tell us something?
Is this for me?
The monster that stole my daddy's face. You didn't fight back, even though it attacked you again and again. Thank you.
This kid has a priorities fully sorted.
Thanks. Thank you.
But she had fire-infused brass knuckles, so, you know, that counts for
Like
something,
design
right?
design.
Yeah,
Spoken of their craftsmanship, likely her father's.
well, that was meaningful.
I'll see you, Savina. Good luck.
I'm glad that we were able to resolve
You too, Ed.
Savina's deep-seated war
Stay
crime
safe.
trauma.
I mean, were we though?
I mean, the kid forgave her. That's sort of close, right?
I mean, it's not nothing, but...
Anyway, neat little detail I like is that if you go back to Oza Village, everybody's fucking gone.
I mean, that tracks. That totally tracks.